Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminolly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today it's time to get festive. I'm going to talk to you about my December TBR. So very strange to think that it's nearly Christmas and indeed nearly 2023. But yes, I've been thinking about what I'm going to read in December. And I found this month, so in November, I have ended up straying quite far from my TBR as we got to the end of the month. And I keep saying to myself that I'm going to put less books on my TBR in order to make sure that I'm giving myself a bit of room to breathe. So I really am trying to do that this month. That said, I do still have, I think, about kind of 8 or 9 books which are kind of locked in and books that I'm going to read. And the reason for that is I'm taking part in 3 readathons in December, all of which I'm really looking forward to. So I will talk you through each of those and tell you the books I'm going to be reading for them. But aside from that, I haven't really got any books locked in that I'm definitely going to read. So the first one that I'm going to be taking part in, and this is the one with the most books associated with it, is the Christmas Evil Readathon, which has been organised by Kelly at Kelly Hooked on Books, Kelsey at Slime and Slashers, Crystal from Fibre Artsy, Katrina Brown, and Michelle from Michelle's Melancholia. So a really fun horror-themed kind of festive reading event hosted by some of my very favourite horror channels on BookTube. So I definitely wanted to take part in it. So let me go through the prompts for this, of which there are a number. And I have to say they've done a fantastic job of coming up with prompts, of doing like a bingo card. They've even got merchandise you can buy for the event. So they've really gone all out on this one, and it's a lot of fun. There's a kind of event going on Instagram as well, with like photo props and things like that. So as I say, it's one of the best organised events I think I've ever seen. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. So in terms of the reading prompts then, so the first one is Black Christmas, read an occult book, story or a book featuring black magic, etc. So for that one I'm going to go with Hex by Thomas Olde Heuvet. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. Heuvet. Thomas Olde Heuvet. I'm going to go with that. So yes, I've had this book on my Kindle for at least 5 years, and I've heard really good things about it. So definitely looking forward to that. It's supposed to be really creepy. I think it's about like a witch in a small town or something like that. So yeah, looking forward to that. Next one is Krampus, read a creature feature or a book/story featuring a monster. So for this one I'm going to go with something which I think is maybe a bit sci-fi as well as horror, but I've had it for a little while and I really fancy reading it, and that is The Human Termite by David H. Keller, MD, which is a kind of pulpy story from I think the 1930s, which has been reprinted in this lovely edition from Armchair Fiction. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. I suspect it's going to be a lot of fun, and it hasn't got a fantastic cover. Okay, next up, A Christmas Carol. Read a book featuring a ghost or haunting of some kind. So for that one, I'm going to go with A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, which is a book I've had for ages. So I've had that on my Kindle for absolutely ages. I've yet to read any Paul Tremblay, and he's one of those authors that people seem to really, really like. So definitely looking forward to that one, and long overdue. Okay, next prompt then is to read a gifted book. So for that, I've actually got 2, albeit by the same author. So the first one is Button Uncanny Stories by Richard Matheson, which was very kindly sent to me by subscriber Kevin Judge. So thank you very much again for that, Kevin. And then I've also got this Best of Richard Matheson Penguin Classics collection, which was sent to me by a good friend. So yeah, really looking forward to reading both of these. I'm not sure, I haven't checked if there's a bit of an overlap between the stories in the 2 collections. I suspect there may be, but I thought I would read them together and really dive into some of Richard Matheson's short fiction. Okay, next one then is a mood read. So I do not know what I'm going to read for this. I've deliberately not chosen a book for that, as I can get away with not choosing a book for that one. Next one then is Sleigh Bells, read a slasher. So I'm going to read this, which I think is a slasher. It certainly looks like a slasher from the cover. So this is Strange Behaviour by Robert Hughes, which is a novelisation of a movie from the 80s. So I read this as a teenager. I got it out of my local library and was really taken with it. I don't know if I was taken with it purely because it was extremely graphic. But who knows? Anyway, I'm looking forward to giving it another read and seeing if it matches my fond memory of it. So yeah, we shall see what I think of that one. Next one then is Winter Wonderland, read a book set in winter. So this one, I'm not 100% sure if it's actually set in winter, but it's definitely set in the cold. And that is All the White Spaces by Ali Wilkes. So I did try and read this before. So I've had this for some time. I was sent an advanced copy of it by Titan Books. And I tried it and just wasn't in the right mood for it. It's got quite kind of a slow, detailed build-up. And I wasn't in the right mood when I tried it before. But it feels like a good book to read kind of over the Christmas period in those kind of lulls between family events. So I tend to get more into a kind of relaxed kind of, life just slows down, doesn't it? So a slow book feels appropriate. So yeah, I'm going to give this a try. It's supposed to be excellent, about a trans man on an Antarctic expedition just after the end of the First World War. So yeah, an interesting historical piece, I think, and supposed to be quite chilling as well. No pun intended. Next one then is Santa's Little Helper, which is read a middle grade book. So not actually middle grade, but YA. I'm going to be reading Mina and the Undead by Amy McCaw. So Amy kindly sent me a copy of this a little while ago. It's had great reviews. Everyone I know who's read this has really, really enjoyed it. And it's a fantastically put together little package as well. I really love the cover. It's even got a fake price tag sticker on the back there. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. It's supposed to be, whoops, all the bookmarks that were inside it have just fallen out. It's supposed to be a really entertaining read. Okay, next then is Reindeer Ride, read a translated work or a book written by a non-US author. So for that one, I'm going to go with Uzumaki by Junji Ito, which I've been meaning to read for, ever since I got it really. I just haven't managed to fit it in yet. So really enjoyed the first Junji Ito book I read, and this one is supposed to be fantastic too. So it felt like a good pick for a translated read for this readathon. So yeah, looking forward to that one. So that's all the Christmas Evil prompts out the way. In terms of other readathons then, so there's two others that I'm doing. The first one is a Cthulu Christmas, which is being hosted by, and I haven't made a note of the name, so I'm going to have to remember them. So it's Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics, Heather the Librarian, and Greg at another Bibliophile Reads. So that is an event where you're just encouraged to read some H.P. Lovecraft short stories. I'm a big fan of Lovecraft, of his work anyway, if not his politics. So I've got this lovely Tales of the Cthulhu Mythos, or Complete Cthulhu Mythos volume, so I will dip into that and read a few Lovecraft stories over the holidays. I may just start reading from the start, to be honest with you. So I haven't read this volume yet. I think I've read all of the Cthulhu stories over the years, but I haven't actually dipped into this volume apart from reading some individual stories in it for other read-alongs. So I'm going to, I think, just start from the beginning and read the first few. And then the other one is not a horror one. So this is Hal for the Holidays, which is being hosted by Brandy at the Booklectic. So this is an event to read stories by Hal Clement, the science fiction author. So my dad is a really big fan of Hal Clement and speaks really highly of him. Brandy, whose opinion I trust, speaks really highly of him as well. So I thought I would give him a try. And I have a copy of what I think is probably his most famous book, A Mission of Gravity, on my Kindle. So I will be reading that as well. So those are the read-alongs or readathons I'm taking part in. Aside from that, I'm deliberately leaving things open. So I have, various commitments in terms of things I'm reading for projects. So I will need to read some disturbing books for my disturbing book project. And I will need to read a classic for my reading 12 classics named by Michael K. Vaughan project. But I'm not going to pick a book now. I'm not going to state what book I'm going to read. I'm just going to see what I'm in the mood for during December and see how I get on with it. So, time for a random book from the shelves. So this is one that I could have read for the final prompt in the Christmas Evil one, the one to read a book by a translated or non-US author. This is Handling the Undead by Tom Alvide Lindqvist, which I've still only read one of his books, which is Let the Right One In, which I really, really liked. I've quite a few of his books on my shelves, and really do need to get to reading them at some point. So maybe I'll try and fit this in during December as well. So I hope you found that interesting. Do let me know if you're taking part in any of the readathons I talked about. I'll leave links to the announcement videos for all of them, so you can check out those and check out the channels. If you're not following those channels that I mentioned, they're all fantastic and well worth a look. And also remember, if you fancy connecting with me on kind of social media or on Discord, the links to my social media accounts and my Discord server are in the About section for the channel. So if you want to chat about books, just reach out to me on one of those platforms. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you're keeping safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.